Hello and welcome to Inside Business, making headlines. Slow pace of GCC economic growth on global recovery fears, warn experts. Abu Dhabi considering financial centre setup. And we find out how fashion retailers in the UAE are looking to expand in the value segment. There were positive results across most of the GCC markets today. The UAE bourses had its mixed run this Wednesday. The DFM gained 0.25% to close at 1,486 points. Shares at DO climbed nearly 4.5%. There were positive results in the real estate sector. MR Properties was nearly up 1%, while Arab Tech gained 1.25%. 41 million shares were traded, valued at 52 million dirhams. The ADX fell over 0.25% to close at 2,491 points. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank was down 1.25%. National Bank of Al Quwain was down nearly 8%. Abu Dhabi National Energy Company, TAQA, fell 2.5%, while Aldar Properties climbed nearly 2%. 42 million shares were traded in total, valued at 106 million dirhams. Cues of a slowing global economy have thrown renewed concerns over cross-border trade. To discuss how this will affect Gulf states, we're joined by Philippe Dauber-Pantanons, a senior economist for the Middle East and North Africa at Standard Chartered Bank. Welcome to the show, Philippe.
It's always a pleasure.
So what impact will global recovery fears have on GCC economies?
Well, the first impact is certainly on global trade, and in the GCC economies, that means Dubai probably. The softening of the global trade will have some impact on a region like Jebel Ali, obviously. The second thing is that is very important for the GCC is that the softening of the global recovery, especially in terms of oil demand, will probably translate in the OPEC not revising up its quota. So this is the second direct impact. So all in all, we think that the GCC economy will grow in 2010 at a very soft pace, around 3%.
A cause for concern there. Now, India's economy recorded an 8.8% growth rate in the first quarter of the fiscal year, its fastest expansion in nearly 3 years. This is largely considered as expected, but will it sustain given wider global economic concerns?
Well, the first thing is that one of the characteristics of the Indian economy is that it is slightly less dependent on the rest of the world than other economies, but much more of its domestic dynamic. But it's true that the 8.8% quarterly GDP growth that we saw was the fastest quarterly growth since the third quarter of 2008. This figure, when you look at it and you analyze, brought us a little bit of worries, and we saw a collapse actually of private consumption as well as investment. So we do have some concern for the next upcoming quarters. There could be some growth under 8%, although all in all for fiscal year 2011, we do think that growth will be at 8% on average.
That's definitely one economy to look out for. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Dubai International Financial Centre may soon help Abu Dhabi set up a finance hub. Officials from the DIFC say they are likely to help the neighbouring emirate establish its financial district, since they believe that one financial centre is not sufficient for the Middle East, North Africa and the South Asian regions. Experts believe this is a positive move, with the centre in Abu Dhabi complementing that of Dubai.
I think the key will be for Abu Dhabi to pitch themselves in a slightly different line so that we have the DIFC and whatever Abu Dhabi sets up not being strictly in competition with each other but perhaps being complementary. The main thing is that a lot of people who are coming to do business in the DIFC have clients that might be in Abu Dhabi as well, and at the moment, in order for them to do business outside the DIFC, they would need to also open a branch anyway in the UAE with regulation by the central bank and ESCA. So by having multiple financial centres in the region, it enables banks to open in multiple jurisdictions and have clients throughout the Gulf.
And in our fast financial news, Emirates Airlines needs over $28 billion over the next 7 years to expand its aircraft fleet. Company officials told Bloomberg that these financing requirements are almost double the amount raised in the last 14 years. And Amwal Al Khalij Commercial Investment Company has received 20 million shares from jewelry retailer Damas. This is part of a settlement with the jewelry retailer's founder Abdullah Brothers and Damas Investments. Most of the Gulf markets ended in positive territory this Wednesday. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. On the way after the break, we talked to Raza Bey, CEO of retail outlet Splash and Iconic, about expansion plans for value chains across the GCC. That's when Inside Business continues. Stay with us.